Guys, I'm back with another one, and today on the bench we have the new MAMBA F7 stack. Let me do a quick unboxing and feature overview. First, on the ESC side we have 4-in-1 ESC 426S, 50 amp constant and 55 amp burst. It has your usual Dshot ratings. On the FC side we have F7 processor, MPU 6000 gyro. We have onboard memory for your black box and 5 volt and 9 volt regulators. There are some pretty interesting features on the FC, but more on that later. So when we open the box we have the stack itself and this convenient board that tells you the pinout on the flight controller. We have some nice rubber O-rings for mounting the ESC or the stack, and we have the XT60, some wires, cap and another wiring harness. Not to go too much in details, I will just point out the most interesting features of this flight controller. First of all, there are some soldering pads for your LEDs, so you can run your LEDs directly from the FC, and you have dedicated LED button to change the settings on the LEDs. And also you can see here little Bluetooth antenna that allows you to connect to your SpeedyB phone app. So as I said, I'm not going to go too much into details. I will actually do a installation guide. So we will going to mount this stack onto my frame. So let's go. Before continuing, I would like to point out this little QR code on the lid of the packaging, and you can simply open the QR code scanner on your phone and simply scan it, and this will take you to the wiring diagram for the ESC. It's pretty convenient and it's super laid out, worth checking out. Okay, so I've mounted the ESC to the frame, and the first step we are going to do is print in all the pads for the wires. For that I like to use a little bit of solder paste on all the pads I'm going to solder on, and simply apply a good blob of soldering paste to the pad. So there you go, all the pads are pre-tinned. Now we need to connect the race wire to the ESC. Let's first cut the wire. I think I'm going to do them like this. So, or actually I'm going to do it opposite way. I have enough clearance for the standoffs. I'm actually going to do it like this. To the pad on the race wire. So here's it, everything wired up. So ESC to the race wire to the motors. Next we will do the FC. So let's connect the RX and the VTX to the FC. It's really simple. You just put the provided board with the pinout, and you can see that the video, or the rather camera input, goes here. You can see that these are the pads dedicated for the VTX, and you can see that you can simply solder your RX TBS Crossfire RX on these pins here. For that I have some wires for the receiver, and I have new wiring harness for the TBS Unify. For that I do a little trick. I don't, since I use my Runcam Sparrow 2 Pro, I actually don't use all the pins provided. I usually remove the wires I don't need. So let us do that. To remove the wires you don't need from the plug, you just simply gently lift the plastic part on the plug and pull away. So this is the wire we are going to use as a smart audio port. So these three are only left for the camera. So to check, please check the wiring. So we have power, ground and video, and for the part that goes into the VTX we have the power and the smart audio. So we have these three wires that go to 9-volt output, ground, TX and video. So let's do that. So these are the UARTs we are actually going to use. So we have the VTX side, RX side, and the one on the front is for the camera. I will actually do the wiring underneath the FC, so it will leave the top part looking clean and nice. So let's measure everything up. So one more time to check the wiring. So we have 9 volts, we have ground, we have TX or the smart audio, and we have the video going to the VTX. Now on to the receiver. So again, let's do the receiver. If you look at the let's call this cheat sheet. First it's the ground on top, then it's the 5 volt. I remind you that I'm soldering underneath the FC. Then it's TX and the RX wire. So let's check it one more time. It's the black for ground, it's 5 volt, then it's TX and RX. First channel or first pad on the receiver is 5 volt, and that's it's actually ground. So let's solder ground first. Next one is 5 volt. Then it's the TX that goes onto RX, and then it's channel 2 RX to TX. This end goes to the VTX. This one goes to the camera, and this is the RX, everything wired up and ready to be transplanted to the frame. The frame looks a bit different now, but basically what I did is I added the receiver antenna, crossfire antenna, and heat shrunk the receiver that is ready to be mounted here in this location, and the antenna put like so. The wiring harness for the camera is also ready. Also I did add the buzzer that on my frame goes like so, and also I mounted the VTX with the antenna mount at the back. So what is left now to do? We need to add the cap and the battery plug to the to the frame. So let's mount the receiver. As you can see, I already zip tied the receiver at the front, and the way the cam and this mount goes on the frame, you simply pull the TPU mounts like so. You have this brass insert, so you can really crank on the TPU mount and not squish it. So 2 longer screws, so the front part of the quad is assembled. So we have connected the camera, we have mounted the receiver antenna. Receiver is mounted via zip tie to the bottom plate. We have mounted the buzzer, and as I said, the only thing left is to connect the battery leads to the ESC. So to the battery lead mounting, I use quite a lot of solder, and I just simply press on it till a nice blob forms. Again with another wire. So that was simple. Now to the cap. The way I usually mount the cap is with the TPU mount somewhere right here. So or rather on the other side, since there's this tab. Okay, so let's cut the this is going to be a negative side. And the positive side. So you simply run it down to the negative lead. I guess that should do it. The one to the positive. Okay, so it's done. Let's route everything so it doesn't interfere with anything. So yeah, little wire, and I use nuts, but just loosely, just to grip the soft mount. Also, one last thing is to protect the cap I use liquid electrical tape and just do the blob of it on top. So yeah, that's the build finished. So we have wired everything up, and the only thing left is to see if the magic smoke is yep, no magic smoke here.